feeling nauseous, have a fever, don't worry. We're right there with you. We got to play some Guild Wars 2 yesterday, but it's just not enough, and we got so much to talk about with the stress test, plus, of course, your viewer questions on today's GuildCast. Hello, everybody. Welcome for another week of GuildCast. Joining me, of course, as with every week, Mr. Scott Hawks. What, I throw you for a loop there with my new intro?
You did. You messed my brain up. It's easily done.
I know.
But you did.
I'm glad. That was my point. Don't tell you guys anything about it.
Okay.
It's our live studio audience.
Yeah. So I watched Legend.
Stop. Okay, good note. And, of course, from Massively.com. The one, the only Elizabeth is back. How are you, Lex?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Ready to talk about some stress?
Always.
I've got so much stress. So much stress. And, of course, from Massively.com as well, it's Richie Procopio.
How are you?
Doing good.
Yeah, we can't actually hear the audience, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No? That's good.
No.
Okay, good.
Good. Yeah, good. All right, so hopefully everybody here watching on the show today actually got to take part of the stress test this past Monday. It was kind of out of nowhere. We didn't get too much of a heads up other than that they were going to be doing the stress test. Everybody get to play it? Everybody on the panel get to...
Yes.
Yes.
All right, good. You guys, it's kind of in the middle of the workday for America. And there was another little game release came out as well. Kind of interesting.
The error game.
Yeah, the Error 37 it's called. Yes.
Error 37.
Error
The
37.
you shall not pass game.
Yes.
It's true.
But I don't know, did ArenaNet actually cause as much stress in your life as they did mine? You know, do you think that it's over? It's over.
Yes.
Yes.
Biting nails, quivering, shaking.
Withdrawal
all that sort of
symptoms.
stuff.
Yeah.
True. Last night was horrible for me.
It's withdrawal
It's a
symptoms.
Sobbing.
Tease.
All right, no, but seriously, there's a lot of people in there, and first of all, I mean, I've heard just completely mixed reactions on performance, game performance, client performance. The first thing, the email went out and it said, hey, expect login issues, expect servers to go down, expect this is what we're doing, people. People still complain.
Yeah.
People still complain. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading through the forums and I actually saw people asking for more time to make up for the downtime because of crashes.
Oh my god.
It's like, really?
What planet do
It's
these people
stressful.
live on? Really? Because I want to get off this rock. Seriously, somebody just get me off this rock.
They come from the planet fail to read.
Seriously.
I think most of them. Yeah. I'll send a
Well, you
tweet
did
to
pre-purchase
Elizabeth.
the game, though, right? Like, isn't that you did pre-purchase?
Yeah.
So you're cutting
Yeah.
into
So
your
that means-
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that means that each of those dollars gives me a certain set of minutes before the game's launch, and if I don't get all of them, I'm going to complain. I'm telling you, I've had enough. I want it all now.
Can I have your stuff?
No, I want it.
First and foremost, for me though, I gotta say, they did. Maybe I'm crazy, but something for me as far as the client goes and frames and stuff, totally jumped up a notch. My frames per second were through the roof. I was running everything on completely maxed out settings, anti-aliasing, like everything. I think the only thing I didn't have on ultra, whatever it was, the highest setting was like, I think I had shadows at medium, which is normal. And it ran like butter. It ran like butter.
Yeah, it was much smoother this time. I actually did a live stream on my channel on Twitch, just full max settings, and people were like, "Wow, that's so smooth." And I was like, I'm trying to like kick its butt, and it was working really smooth for me as well. I mean, there were a couple like issues, little snags here or there. Like I was playing with my son at one point, recording a video, and we just had massive like input lag where we would hit the buttons, nothing would happen, and then a couple 30
Input
seconds later
lag.
they would all spam.
Input. I'm going home.
Well,
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable input lag.
Yeah.
I watched 5 more minutes.
See, I was told I was crazy as I was sort of dazedly tweeting things at 5 a.m. this morning, going, I thought it felt much better. Was it all server side, or did it feel like optimization was kicking in at some point, a little or something? Because I think the description it was as smooth as a ghost on glass. It was really gorgeous, and I was running into areas. I ramped everything up to like ultra or high, depending on the setting, as far as it could go, and for large populations to slow me down, and it just didn't. It was beautiful. It really ran really lovely.
How about you, Elizabeth? Did you see any sort of improvement on that side?
I was playing on a different computer that didn't have as high specifications, so it was really hard for me to compare because I didn't know how much was lag from the servers trying to get stressed or how much of it was just not being on a super beastly computer or what. So I did have issues, but they weren't game-breaking, certainly. I did run into the same thing as Richie did, where I have... didn't even think about that one. Had a couple moments of like severe lag as far as pushing buttons and then waiting for it to happen later. But it went pretty smoothly, all things considered. I was expecting a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, how about server crashes? I had 0. I didn't crash at all. I just played completely normal. Actually, so I had one single thing the entire time, which I know a lot of people had, was right towards the end of the beta closing. As we always do, we go to Divinity's Reach, right? That's what we got to do now. Usually where they spawn some crazy golems or something that, giants. And I got stuck at the 95% loading screen like so many others did. And I literally had like 3 minutes left of the beta, and everybody was like, well, just log out, you log back in, and you're there. That's what everybody's doing. And I just logged out, but I was like, all right, I'm done. But besides that, I did hear a lot. There were other people on the flip side going like they couldn't log in at all. Like, they just couldn't even get in for the entire day.
There were a few things. I know I'd logged in at the very start I couldn't get to play all day, so I logged in at the very start to do the usual guild invites that I had to do for quite a while, and B, just to see what was going on. For a start, the commerce pane wasn't working. It was just saying, you do not have access to this. If you tried to use the trading post or tried to use the gems or anything like that. That didn't work for about an hour or so, and then that was fixed. There were problems at one point getting out of Divinity's Reach. If you were in there and you tried to take a portal out of it, it just wouldn't let you. Some of the travel to overflow stopped working for a while, just for a short time, but then seemed to get fixed pretty quick. So there were issues. Oddly enough, on a stress test, there were some problems. Who'd have thought?
Oh my god, crazy. Like, maybe they're actually overstressing the servers to see what happens.
It's just, I don't know. As you said, I think we should all get refunds.
They should pay. I think they should pay us to play the game. Next beta event, I should get a check from ArenaNet. That's what I'm expecting for my lost time. Anybody else have? Go ahead, Richie.
I was going to say, do you think some of the smoothness that we felt was actually some optimization going in, or just the fact that it might have been a little bit of an odd time and not as many people like crowding in?
I think it had to be optimization. I could not run the client with the settings that I was even close to. Even when I was in the game in the prior betas, running around where no other players would be, just in kind of like some barren areas or something, there was no way my system was running it with these settings.
Yeah, I got the 95% error as well. And I wasn't even in Divinity's Reach. I was just out and about in the world, and I had the same problem. I had to crash out and do it, and one of my friends had the same thing. So it seemed to be hitting a lot of people. But now we have a new catchphrase. We are the 95%.
Error 37, and we are the 95%. Anybody else have any other lag issues or anything like that? Anybody experience any input lag?
There were a couple of spikes here and there, but that was it, really. I remember there was one. I had one lag surge for like 15 seconds, and that was it in the entire few hours that I got to play. So yeah, certainly better than the previous beta weekend. Yes, I think part of the reason they did it in that time of day was so they weren't completely overwhelmed, and they could play with the settings a bit more, perhaps. So you didn't have everybody at say prime time Pacific and Eastern at the same time just breaking everything. but so they got, I think, got a bit more chance to, with a little more breathing space to play with server settings and so on. But still, there was plenty of people on there, lots of people on there, and it just seemed to, there seemed to have definitely been a big step up since the last beta weekend.
So shortest test we've had so far, 7 hours. We've all been in a few betas prior to this. Let's go around the room. What did everybody focus on this time, Richie? What did you check out?
I did about 2 hours or so of PvE, just trying to do some renowned hearts and level my elementalist up to like level 12, and then I did a very kind of odd thing where I just said, I'm going to do some structured PvP. I'm going to try to invent this like rock monster elementalist build where I'm just this hulking earth type defensive creature and summon earth elementals and summon an earth shield to throw at people like Captain America, because I just watched the Avengers movie and it was awesome. And I succeeded in becoming a very hard to kill but unthreatening foe. I can sure hold my own for a couple seconds versus 3 people, but they weren't afraid of me at all.
Not
you want to
at
see
all.
someone sink in water? Was you match?
Yes, I was the Rock.
Scott, what'd you focus on this time? Guardian.
My name's Scott, and I've played a Guardian.
Oh my God! Are you couldn't break free again?
Look,
you didn't want anything else to
for
the love of the viewing audience, like give them something, man.
No, there was an explanation for this.
Again, with the
That was
excuse.
it.
I was doing guild invites, right? So I was on my character that I'd used the name and stuff, so people get into contact with me easily, so I could do guild invites, and I was doing things like that.
I'm gonna find a number. It's called 1-800-HELP for Guardians, and I think you need to start going at least once a week.
What I focused on was some of the trade skilling, because I knew I wasn't going to have time. I didn't want to start a new character because I wasn't going to have an express amount of time to try out all the different... See, I'm coming up with good excuses here, I promise. I didn't have time to really try out a lot of weapon builds and so on, and I didn't want to have what happened with the Ranger, where the short amount of time I had with it kind of turned me off the class a little, because I didn't get to explore it much, and what I found of it wasn't fantastic. So I thought, right, I'll look at some other aspects of the game, and I'd seen some people complaining about there's not enough resources out in the world for trade skilling, so I basically did some exploration, and I disagree with them entirely. But yeah, I did some different weapons on the Guardian as well, and went exploring and finding stuff.
Elizabeth.
So I had a fun time running around and essentially being a tourist. I realized that I had no screenshots with me from the previous beta weekend, so I basically took my highest level characters possible and ran through all of the human zone down to the bottom part of Kessex Hills, and then took a Norn up and ran around the entire Snowdon Drifts and just took screenshots of every out-of-the-way place I could, and basically did that. I mean, so there was obviously fighting on the way and participating in dynamic events that I hadn't seen before. I was exploring new places, but I was pretty much touristing it up for the entire time.
That sounds like my experience for every other previous beta. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, shiny. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that. I can't do anything. Finally, I got to do some dub. Did some World v World stuff with Shaftnit running around there. The server... WA Space, the Gamebreaker guild is on Darkhaven. Held up pretty well, and I gotta say, we didn't do too bad.
I could see both guilds as well. It's great.
So here's the dub v dub map, and as you can see, there's a lot of red. It started off evenly split as red, blue, and green, but yeah, clearly WA Space just kind of overran up into his house.
Nice.
I don't know, seriously though, but looking at this map, right? Is this something that we should possibly be concerned with? I mean, this is obvious. This is clearly something that we don't want for live servers, and we don't want to see this necessarily. I'm sure ArenaNet doesn't want to see this when game goes live either. And this is what happened through the course of the day.
Yeah,
You got to keep in mind that there's going to be 2-week matches, and for you to consistently hold that much for 2 weeks, that's going to take a stellar amount of effort to hold that. Now, I think this kind of thing will happen. You will have some servers that are just more coordinated, might even have more people, and just dominate a match. But over time, that will correct itself because the servers will get a rating based on their wins, and they will be matched against winning servers. And that'll take maybe a couple weeks, couple months, to kind of sort out. But over time, that should kind of work itself out, I would think.
I mean, that's what we hope, right? We hope that the servers can sort themselves out over a couple weeks or months. But I mean, there's no guarantee it's going to be perfect, right?
I've got a feeling. Sorry, go
No, go for it. By all means.
I've got a feeling that we might see some intervention in the early days from ArenaNet. Like in the last beta weekend, they switched the server server makeups, like, was it twice? Right, there was 3 different server matchups across that weekend. And I can see them doing that manually rather than just letting the ranking system at the start, because people are, and you know how it is, people have already been whining in a 7-hour stretch. So you're going to have people in those first 2 weeks saying, is this what it's going to be like? Are we just going to get steamrolled all the time? And people are going to get fed up and not wait for that 2 week to kick in. So I can see ArenaNet maybe tweaking things a little manually and with the sort of rankings to start with. But yeah, but if not, I mean, the systems are all there in place to hopefully take care of this. There's going to be imbalances. There are, but over those 2 week stretches, you're going to get across, and if you want to go, and if you're getting your backside handed to you, go into some like guerrilla warfare stuff. Go kill Doliacs and supply lines and all the rest of it. Don't just see when they're winning, I'm not playing anymore.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, so it's really hard to match things up that you don't know about. You can't take 2 servers that you have no idea of who's playing on them really substantively or how active they're going to be. You can't just know how servers are going to work out. So of course it's going to be unbalanced to begin with. But I think that the system they have in place should take care of that over time.
This is, I gotta say, again, back to my performance non-issues on this test was going into dubs. I gotta say, I was amazed at how good my system was holding up, leaving all the settings still on completely high. Players all over the place. We were fighting a bunch of wall of NPCs and stuff, but still just sparklies like going off everywhere. There had to be 30 characters on my screen running around. I mean, I saw a little bit of slowdown. It was more than playable. Any you guys have any issues in dubs in the stress test?
No, I only popped in and out of it, to be honest, because I didn't want to get lost doing Guardian stuff in WVW, because then I wouldn't have had any excuses on why I was playing the Guardian for the show this week.
Yeah, I didn't play World versus World either at all.
I did hear some grumblings of some people were saying there was a lot of input lag, saying they'd hit a button and the spell would fire off seconds later. I didn't experience it. I mean, but again, totally to be expected. It's what they're doing. I mean, what do you think? What do you think they're actually doing to do a server test like this? Do you think that they're actually overloading the amount of people that they're opening the floodgates to a particular server to just see what the point is? They can actually break it.
The feeling that I have is that they, since the beta weekend event, they figured something out, and they wanted to kind of test it in a very quick way before they actually go ahead with the next beta weekend event. They can just put this test in there, get some data real quick, see if this fix, or these fixes, actually did stuff, and so they can actually make some further changes before they invite a lot of people to come back over a 3-day stretch. So, and that's kind of the sense that I got, and I think they probably got a lot of good information from it.
Nothing to do with that game that you go to hell. Nothing.
I don't really think so. I mean, we saw during the beta weekend that they had a couple, quick fixes and hot patches that they put in. So it seems like this would be the kind of time where they would be making sure that those actually stuck, and it wasn't just kind of a get over the bump to kind of get people into the beta weekend to make sure that they were actually fixing systems, and you can't really do that without having thousands and thousands of people logging in.
Anything else? Any other highlights you guys have from the this? I can't even say weekend or nothing. It was 7 hours of amazing time.
I just the exploration side of it was great.
You're having separation anxiety, aren't you, Scott? Your guardian, and your guardian. You can't sleep at night. You're just.
I'm having problems.
Oh.
It's his whoopee.
He's like, my name is Scott. I'm a guardian.
I'm a guardian, and I like making blue walls and things. My highlight was actually was in the event where you get a cave troll, and there's these grubs you kill, and then a cave troll is the dynamic event within that, and then I was fighting a bunch of bandits, and I got to use my reflective shield properly for the first time, and just watching bandits shoot themselves, watching it hit the shield, and then he gets the effect, the nice sparkly effect and then he bounces back and hits them, and they were all killing themselves, shooting me. Great fun.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, my highlight was definitely just being able to get in W-dubs this time with just no lag and just everything running great. I had a great time. Hey guys, really quick, I want to tell you guys about an amazing deal we got going on from our friends over at Netflix. If you guys have not checked out their streaming service, it's a great service. If you head on over to netflix.com/GamebreakerTV, you can actually sign up just for Gamebreaker peeps right now, a free 30-day trial for the streaming service. So stream anything on your television shows, movies, anime, to your iPhone, your iPad, your PC, your desktop, your Xbox, your PS3. It's insane how many actual devices you can stream to now. So go over to netflix.com/GamebreakerTV. Sign up for a free 30-day trial. Yes, I'm still watching Ancient Aliens. Did you guys see?
Oh God.
Wait, this wasn't on Ancient Aliens, but seriously, did you guys see that they finally dug up the Easter Island heads and they realized they have bodies?
How crazy is that?
It's mental.
Is that unbelievable?
How did nobody think? How did no one think of that? Wait, there's a bunch of heads. They're sitting there in the dirt. Maybe they're attached to something. Blew my mind. It completely.
A bunch of kids at the beach just burying each other in the sand.
Insane.
Don't give me gum gum.
Well, I'm sure Ancient Aliens actually probably talks about Easter Island. Let me see.
Doctor Who. Watch Doctor Who.
There it is. Ancient Aliens, 2 seasons right there. Let's see if they have. They got to have something on Easter Island here. Doctor Who. Yes. I don't know. It's probably on here. I'm sure it's in here. There's so many. I can't remember. I think it was in one of the episodes I just watched about mysterious places or something. So check it out, netflix.com/GamebreakerTV. Go sign up for your free 30-day trial today. All right, let's do some viewer questions. We got a lot of them. Don't worry, there's not just 3 of them. We're here for a little bit. Let's start with this one from Eric Kuhn. Eric asks, he says, is it true that there was a stress test a week before the first beta weekend? Do you guys think we will be lucky enough to have the same thing happen again next week? First of all, anybody have any inside information about a stress test before the first beta weekend?
It's not inside information. They tweeted about it. Well, it was still under NDA as far as I know, so they're tweeting to tell people not to tweet about it. But
that's kind of ironic, huh?
It did happen, and we did know about it.
Hey, here's a tweet.
Don't letting people talk about it.
Don't retweet this.
Yeah, it was April 13th.
We've only got over 9,000 people following this. Don't retweet.
Keep it secret.
You guys think we'll be lucky enough to see another one?
Not this weekend. But
I think every week would be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it'd be awesome.
I was just gonna say, like, should we be going like that? Would be great. Do it every day.
Hopefully we might see. I'm hoping we'll get another BWE. Not this. It wouldn't be this week, I would think, but maybe next weekend would be nice. That'd be good. Stick to that one a month thing, then release it next month. Come on.
That would totally break your theory if you thought we were not going to get one a month. You were like, they're backtracking.
I was worried.
Backtracking.
I was concerned. They were hedging, and I don't like hedging. It concerns me.
He doesn't like hedges.
No.
He doesn't like hedges. He must clip the hedges. All right.
Prune them.
Run through them with tractors.
Prune them.
Next up, this one in from Kyle Jennings. Kyle says, any word on UI customization? I would love to change things around a bit. And has ArenaNet said anything about this?
There's a little bit. They've confirmed that there's not going to be as much UI customization as in Guild Wars 1. They've come right out and said that. And there are some things you can do, but yeah, there's people that want more. They want like the Rift, where you can just do anything, right off the bat. I know I've seen a lot of people wishing they can do something with like the health globe. People like to customize. They like to,
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I have not been seeing many complaints about the default UI. I mean, I'm actually feeling like a lot of people are quite happy with it.
It is really good right off the bat. I mean, it's very clean and it's very easy to find a lot of the information. But people want to do what they want to do. They want it to be a Burger King MMO and have it their way.
And, sometimes that's fairly legitimate. Like, it's not like people are wrong for wanting to be able to customize. It doesn't look at this point like it's going to be an option.
And also, when you look at the UI itself, it's like, how much, I can move that over there. Okay, but it's like one bar, really. It's not like a lot of MMOs where you have like 40 bars and there's like 300 pieces of information. Sidebar, and you got the map up here, and you've got you've got 60 bars just for healing, and you've got all of this stuff, and then you need it. But because it's such a streamlined UI, that yes, some modification and customization be nice. But I don't think it's as absolutely necessary as I think it is in other MMOs, just because it's so streamlined already. And
I wonder if, like I said, of course there's going to be some people kind of out there grumbling about it, but I feel like the amount of people griping about this is somewhat small, and I'm wondering if it is just because what you touched on here. It's not really just the copy pasta generic MMO UI, 125 from 1992, right? Like, they have done some work where they really kind of cleaned it up a lot.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, the whole philosophy is basically you get your information from within the game, the screen, the world itself. So they basically try and get the UI out of the way of that, and that's why it's so pared down compared to a lot of other. I mean, let's face it, certain other MMOs, you don't actually see the screen, you see the bars. More than anything,
you just stare at meters all day.
You are, yeah. And in Guild Wars 2, they have it. You can see they've made design choices which are completely against that idea. The way that you tell if you've got certain conditions on you is, you limp. The favourite, ooh, me leg, which is the favourite one. So you don't want to be looking at a bar for that. You want to see it happening in the game. And so I understand customization is nice, but I don't think it's quite as vital in Guild Wars 2 as it is in other games.
Or my damage meters.
I don't know. You can have them if you want. They're not going to really do you much good. It's such a situational game that rotation approach that makes damage meters so vital. Damage meters, you need to know how you're doing, because you need to know if you hit button 3 within that 0.5 seconds that you needed to maximize your DPS in other games.
I need my GPS mod. I need my GPS mod to tell me where to go. Maybe my raid one. Maybe could I get my mod that plays my character for me and fights everything? Then I could just watch it play. No? Not a fan?
No.
All right. Next up, this one is from Andrew Mercer. Andrew asks, he says, do you think being placed in a zone's overflow server is going to be a rare occurrence at launch after they get a good idea of the resources they'll need? Or will it happen as often as it does during beta? It's kind of a tough one, huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they brought this up, because when they originally announced the overflow servers, the way I thought it was going to work, it really impressed me. I thought it was going to be, hey, there's a queue on your server. Rather than you sitting and waiting for your number to tick down, you can just go into this overflow server, and when your number is called, you can transfer over to your real server. And that's kind of sort of how it goes, but it's got the added thing of you're kind of on an overflow server. Your number gets called, you get put into your real server, but then anytime you're zoning somewhere and try to zone back, if that area is full, then you get put back in an overflow server. So you kind of get this feeling like you never quite get there. And I'm not sure that's going to be necessarily too big of an issue, as long as it's easy to find and group up with your friends on these different overflow servers. So we'll have to see that. But I do think that it's I do think that there's something that's not quite.
You think like psychologically it just sort of feels disconnected, like that you're just not really on your home server.
Kind of. I'd rather kind of wait, and I don't know a good solution to this, because I understand why they structured it this way, because they want it to be like, they want it to combat different areas of congestion in addition to just your server is full, and so it's definitely a tough nut to crack. But it definitely, there's something psychological going on with that, where it's like, I just got out of the overflow, I'm on my real server, but I needed a zone to Holbrecht for a minute. I'm in the overflow again. So I do think that once we get out of stress tests and beta tests, and after the launch, these kind of issues will start to dissipate a bit. The population will get thinned out, and it might not be something that rears its head too often. So it might not be a big deal, but that's just something that's hitting me right now.
Alex, did you?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Mike O'Brien said, they had what was it 48 servers they had up for the first BWE, and they realized very quickly that wasn't enough. They hadn't actually anticipated that many people being on. That caused a lot of the overflow issues. And also, I didn't get a chance to test it out, but I did speak to somebody who did, and they were able to party through overflow much better this time than the last BWE. So it seems that that's been dealt with. I mean, we mentioned that there seemed to be a system in place over the BWE, but it just wasn't working, it seemed, and that seems to have been borne out in the stress test, because people were able to party up even into the overflow servers. So that seems to, and so that's the main issue with it. And as Richie says, at launch, it's going to be an issue because people are going to start finding the servers are going to be rammed, and then the population will disperse a bit, and we'll start seeing things settle down. So it'll always be there, but I don't think it'll be as prevalent as it is right now.
Alex, did you have that psychological barrier like Richie did as well? Did you feel that?
I really didn't. That might just be me, and it might be because I was playing on my own for most of yesterday, so I didn't really care where I was because I was essentially doing my thing no matter what. I can see where that's really valid, but I think once you don't have people like setting out specific time to cram into this narrow amount of time that servers are open, you'll have it be less of a problem anyway. And as long as their grouping comes into effect and works the way that it's supposed to do as far as being able to play with people no matter what, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem that comes up a lot. I think that it'll get better over time, or at least I'm trusting that it will, which might be wrong on my part. I don't know.
It's a good character.
Maybe they'll disappoint me.
You're trusting in your character. All right, this next one up from TJ Vossos. This one directly straight up for Mr. Scott Hawks. Yeah, fans. This question for Scott. Do you see any room for Guardians to have a pistol for a weapon, not dual wielding? What do you think, Scott? Do you
we're going to be out.
You want to shoot righteous bullets? You want to shoot righteous bullets of righteousness?
Yeah, because then that would be really balanced. I'm going to stand there and put up my wall that reflects projectiles, switch to my gun, and shoot people at range while they shoot themselves, bouncing off the wall I've just put in front of me. No.
Sounds like it's working as intended to me. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it'd be great. I'd love it. But anybody who didn't want to play a Guardian would quit the game within a week, I think, because we would just ruffle stomp and pwn anybody within range. No, you can't do that. You can't. There's a specific reason why a Guardian is very much at best a mid-range ability profession with the staff and so on. If you give them full range and good damage output with that, they would be ridiculous. Yeah, go for it.
Do you guys see? Do any of you guys see the ArenaNet possibly adding more weapon sets to existing classes in the future?
Sure. Yeah, I don't see that happening in the near future, but that's certainly something, over time, maybe an expansion type thing to do. It would definitely upset a lot of the balance, and they're not going to want to do that anywhere near launch. But sure, I could see that being a big draw of an expansion type thing. New weapon set for every profession or something like that. That would be really cool.
How about every player gets to use every class can use every single weapon set?
That'd be a nightmare.
Balancing nightmare.
God.
That would be ridiculous.
They'll be back to where they were in Guild Wars 1, and they'll be like, let's do Guild Wars 3.
All right, let's just move on. All right, next question. This one in from Sean Horley. Sean says, asks, why are we not able to unlock new weapon skills in WVDubs? Meaning if I go in at level 2 and get a new weapon, I am only able to unlock it in PvE. Is that intended or a bug?
That's not right.
That's not
right, is it?
Bug.
No.
It's got to be a bug.
And it was a very specific bug because I did not run into that problem.
Nope.
So there you go. Quick and
Sorry.
easy answer.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean, you had a messed up time of it. That's
Good job finding the bug, though.
There you go. Hopefully
Report it.
I was going to say, hopefully you're a good little beta tester and reported that, but it was a bug. All right, next up, this one in from Curtis Dion Rodney. Curtis asks, he says, we hear a lot of positives. This is a really good question. Here we go. He says, we hear a lot of positives here on GBTV about Guild Wars 2, but what is your biggest concern / biggest thing you don't like about the game at the moment? All right, guys, here it is. Your time to prove that Gamebreaker is not paid off by ArenaNet. So do a good job.
The Guardians don't have pistols. No. One, guilds need to have more than 100 people in them, or they need to have a very, very well put together alliance, a communication system. Though personally, I would not want to go that route anyway, because then what you have is essentially officers running other guilds for you, and sort of using alliance to unify the guild. I don't like that at the moment. They need to sort out Control Shift Alt modifiers, please, for my lovely Razor Naga, and so I can use that for everything. And anybody else jump in while I'm thinking of something else? Sorry.
Particle scaling needs to happen when you're in a big group. They definitely need to do more with guilds as far as just, I mean, the support for it was a lot better this time. I think that grouping is something that they need to work on a lot as far as just the overflow thing most specifically, but otherwise I haven't really seen where it's a tremendous benefit to me to be in a group with people, as opposed to just running around alongside them. Richie?
Yeah, I have a small one and then a bigger one. This may not bother everybody, but I want to zoom my camera in and do first person view, because they have specifically said that they're not doing that on purpose because they want the focus to be on your character. They want you to have an attachment to your character. They don't want you to be able to get rid of it. But it drives me crazy.
I hadn't thought of that, but I kind of agree with that. I would love to see that.
I feel so stuck and claustrophobic behind the head of my character. I want to be able to go forward. Most of the time I would play. Actually that's probably another one is being able to zoom back a little bit further too.
Definitely.
I feel a little claustrophobic.
My biggest complaint is that I just can't play it. That's it.
That's a very valid complaint. For one thing, it's really difficult to take screenshots if you're trying to do the /sleep and get out of your own way so that you can do a nice vista shot.
Right.
That's just something that would be really nice even if you had to go into a menu, turn it on, do whatever screenshots or whatever, turn it off. I would be okay with that so that it wasn't so that normally your gameplay was on your character, or if it was only available, for me at least, for the way I play, if it was only available when the UI was hidden or something. Anything so that I have more options there.
Good job, guys. Good job. ArenaNet, you can make that check out to Gary C. Gannon. All right, next one. This one in from Act One. Act One asks, he says, how do the hosts approach beta testing, particularly when seeking out bugs and imbalance? Do you break a specific class and race's content, or see as much of the overall game as possible with diverse alts? Scott, I'm going to start with you with your Guardian. What kind of approach do you take?
What I try and do is just focus on a specific area of the game and get into as much depth with it as possible, and then really spend a lot of time looking at the trade skills, see where I can find that is or isn't working with that, and then, as I said, just specific areas of the game, then go and do some exploration, just get involved in different of the events, and then what I did this weekend actually was spent a lot more time with the specific events to look at the sort of what branched off from them and really look at how those work, rather than just Oh, I've done that and run on to the next one, because just with the complaints people have had saying, well, it just looks like the same thing's happening over and over. Just see how much depth was in there, and then seeing if those different branches and chains worked well. So I try and make a very sort of like focused approach to different aspects, and then once I've exhausted that, move on to something else.
How about you, Liz?
Well, during the beta weekends, I'm mostly focused on gameplay feedback, so I'll just do everything I possibly can. Because this was more about stress test and server load, I was just zoning as much as I possibly could. So, even though I was running around one area, like any time that I had a zone to a different portal that I could connect to, I would go through that and come back, or hop to a major city and come back, just to try and break things. And it worked, because I got the 95% bug a couple times. I got black screen to death. I had all sorts of fun with that, so I feel like I did my part.
I was gonna say, look at what a good little beta tester you are. You're actually like in there, like trying to like break. You're like, I'm gonna run through here, run back out, run in, run out until it breaks. I'm terrible. I don't even fill out the little like questionnaires at the end of the quests.
For shame.
I realize
They take 3 seconds.
they take too long. I'm on to the next thing. I got stuff to do. I can't fill out paperwork.
I've got eggs to grab.
5, 3, 3, 4, 5. That takes ages. That does, doesn't it?
Seriously.
5, 1, 5. Yeah, I mean, really?
The only time I'm trying to get a GM or something, I'm stuck and I need help. Help me.
I can't get in this guild. Where's the GM?
I
Or
quit.
At least you're honest.
How about like, is there a certain level in the game that you guys don't want to sort of pass? You don't want to spoil things, avoid things, that kind of thing, especially with the PvE content.
Oh yeah, I'm already feeling like I've done a lot of what I want to see in these betas, and I kind of just want the game to come out, because I just don't want to. I don't want to get sick of it, and I don't want and I kind of don't want to progress too far into the game and see too much. But at the same token, I've seen a lot of the beginning areas multiple times now, so yeah, I definitely feel that. I think what I'm saying is we just need to have the game come out now, please.
Really, that's it.
Now.
I've been playing storylines that I don't anticipate myself wanting to play on launch. So, like, I know that I really want to play an Ash Legion char, Iron Legion char, so I've been playing Blood Legion storylines instead. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is I really like the Blood and Ash Legion storylines, so I'm like, oh, I should roll a crap, because it's a lot of characters when you want to play everything.
Can we quote you on that?
Yes.
I want to roll a crap.
There you go.
What I want.
Elixir, I want to roll a crap. How about you, Mr. Hawks? Besides your guardian, do you want to roll a crap?
No, but I don't have any slopes nearby to do it with.
I so wanted to put your camera on right now. Just sorry, go ahead.
She's giving me gestures.
You're gonna get in trouble. Yeah, I basically started choosing the personal storylines that I knew didn't immediately appeal to me, like the noble, and then, as Elizabeth says, I was actually starting to enjoy it. I'm like, oh god, that's not working now, is it? So no, I'm not really worried too much about it. I have stuck to the beginning areas more than I originally intended to, not because. I'm trying to keep straight face.
I broke her.
All right, completely derailed the troll. See, I can actually troll via cameras. It's amazing. You have no control. You can't really leave. Sorry, Scott. What were you saying? Rolling crap?
I don't know.
Oh, you forgot? All right, I'll move on. Next question. Sean Arrington says, with each race having its own starting area and personal quests, how soon will 2 or more friends of different races be able to play together? Also, how would we go about getting to the same location? So, I mean, I guess it seems like it's pretty easy to get back and forth, but this could cause somewhat of an issue with the personal story, right? This could get in the way a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna say, it's pretty easy to get together. You could do it right after the little tutorial thing after you create your character. You could just go to any main town and there's Asura gates there, or you can just go to the mists and use the Asura gates. In terms of personal story, you can actually do them with other people. I mean, it won't necessarily, you can watch other people's personal story if that's what they want to do. So,
Right. And I mean, I guess the only thing would be unless you want to level through your personal story at the appropriate level, in which case you'd be jumping back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
But because of the level scaling, that's not really a big deal. So you can go and do maybe like levels 1 to 10 in one person's, and then switch back over to the other race to do their 1 to 10. So it should be really easy to find a way that works for your schedule or your group of friends.
Yeah, the personal story is so sort of pick up and put down that it's not going to get in the way, and it's always available to you whenever you want it. So yeah, as soon as you finish your tutorial, go and find your nearest shiny big round portal and jump through it, and you're sorted. Easy.
Yep.
All right, last up today from Josh McNeil. Josh Hassey says, do we know what we can expect from the Sylvari capital? Is it going to be as impressive as the others, or is it pretty much going to be a big tree and some bushes? With that, I think it's going to be a tree and a bush, and that's about it. There's really not much to it.
Yeah, it's going to be rubbish.
I've heard it's really terrible. I heard it's literally like a potted plant, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You just kind of stand
You
there.
just kind of stare at it, and you're like, "I am home.
Yeah.
I am home."
It's like going to an old man's allotment, and there's just cabbages.
In all seriousness, though, they have shown video of the home tree, and what they've shown of it is incredible. Like, I really, really want to see that. It doesn't even look like a tree anymore. It's all very natural and very jungle-like, but it seems like much more than a tree and some bushes.
If there's not any cabbage there, I'm quitting. I'm just trolling you.
God.
We lost your voice.
We totally lost you.
I said
What'd you
I
say?
said if there's no cabbage there, I'm totally quitting.
Oh yeah,
Good.
leaving in a huff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cabbages are bust.
It's kind of like Fern Gully meets Avatar.
There you go. Elizabeth Claire, follow her on the Twitter at Elizabeth Claire, right there on the lower third, right there, and she's gonna roll some crap. So hopefully you get back in there really soon, and you can roll some crap. Elizabeth Claire, rolling crap. All right, Richie Procopio, follow him on the Twitter at Richie Procopio. Of course, go to massive.com each and every week to check out both Richie and Elizabeth's work over there. Scott, I don't know what he does. He just rolls Guardian, and I just kind of hang
Pretty
out,
much.
and that's it. I give you.
Yeah. I do other things. Sometimes. Maybe. Come on, my Guardian back.
Get some sleep, buddy.
Okay, I'll try.